Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're tackling something, well, something literally every homeowner or renter totally dreads. I'm talking about the massive headache of finding a trustworthy local contractor without, getting completely ripped off. We're going to look at how a platform called PicksByTown actually uses hard data to rescue us from all that endless scrolling, fake reviews, and sponsored spam, so we can finally find reliable local services.
All right, let's just dive right in with a super relatable seasonal scenario. So, as the winter snow and ice finally melt away, a lot of us walk outside, look up, and just kind of assume our gutters are completely clear. I mean, the leaves fell months ago, right? But what's really going on up there?
Well, according to a daily editorial note from PicksByTown, it's really not that simple. They point out that, and I quote, "The freeze-thaw cycle can leave behind a thick layer of debris that can clog gutters and downspouts, causing water to back up into the home." It's this classic hidden problem, right? It seems so minor, but if you ignore it, you could be looking at serious water damage that requires a roofer or a general contractor to fix. Basically, a tiny little oversight quickly escalates into a massive, super costly repair.
So to actually avoid that total nightmare, there are a couple of practical, immediate steps you can take right now. First off, hire a local handyman service to get up there and clean those gutters the second the last snowmelt is done. They actually know how to safely remove all those twigs and compacted winter debris. Second, if you want a more permanent fix, you might consider having gutter guards installed. Now that often requires the expertise of a general contractor or even a landscaper for the more complex setups, but honestly, a quick, targeted hire right now saves you thousands of dollars and an incredible amount of stress later on.
And this kind of proactive maintenance, it never really stops. Just look at this upcoming daily tip. Schedule an AC tune-up with an HVAC contractor before the summer heat. Makes perfect sense. But this brings us to a really major roadblock. How do we actually go about finding these specific HVAC pros, handymen, roofers, and contractors without getting scammed? If you do a standard web search right now, you are absolutely going to be bombarded by ads and SEO spam.
Section 1. The Scale of PicksByTown, a directory picked by data.
Let's look under the hood at how this platform is built to connect you with exactly the right services in your area. 59. That is the exact number of cities currently covered by their local directories. From Annapolis, Maryland, all the way to San Diego, California, they are actively mapping the local service landscapes of 59 distinct towns and cities, providing localized, hyper-specific data for each and every one.
And within each of those 59 cities, they track 18 specific service categories. We aren't just talking about some vague list of businesses here. We're talking highly specialized trades: roofers, plumbers, pest control, movers, electricians, tree services, the whole shebang. If a pipe bursts or a tree falls on your fence, they have a category tracking the exact people who fix it.
Which brings us to the crucial point, this final massive number, 8,479. That is the total amount of local service businesses that are actively ranked across the PicksByTown platform right now. It's just a massive data set of professionals that are constantly being evaluated. But how exactly are they evaluated?
Section 2. Data over paid placements. The ranking algorithm explained.
This is where PicksByTown completely separates itself from the rest of the internet. Let's peel back the curtain and carefully break down these specific data points. PicksByTown scores businesses by pulling in public review data, but they look way deeper than just a simple star rating. They calculate the actual volume of reviews alongside that rating to measure real consistency. They factor in business tenure, like how long have they actually been operating in your town. They look at service breadth, and they even measure response quality. This information is constantly refreshed to calculate a business's true objective ranking. It's an algorithm literally built to find competence, not marketing budgets.
And man, that leads us to a really stark, frankly frustrating comparison. On one side, you have the standard pay-to-play model that dominates web searches today. You know exactly what this is. Algorithmic sludge, SEO-stuffed listicles that are impossible to actually read, and sponsored placements deliberately disguised as top results. We've literally all been there. You have an emergency leak, and the first 3 plumbers you see just bought their way to the top of your screen. On the other side, you have the PicksByTown model, curated strictly by data, relying on genuine review volume, and featuring fixed rankings that absolutely cannot be bought.
I honestly absolutely love this quote straight from their site. Rank is fixed by the data, not the invoice. I mean, sure, businesses are allowed to claim their listings to update a phone number or contact info, but they cannot buy their way to the top of the list, period. Your ranking is a reflection of your actual work in the community.
Section 3. The Daily Picks Network's ultimate promise: curation you can trust.
So PicksByTown is actually part of a much larger parent constellation known as the Daily Picks Network, which features 7 distinct, daily fresh sites covering everything from real estate to board games to AI models. And across all 7 of these sites, they maintain one universal, totally consumer-first promise. First, everything is picked by a person who actually looks, no auto-generated clickbait. Second, it's fresh every day. They literally just give you one single thing worth 2 minutes of your time, rather than a fire hose of content. Third, no paywalls and no email walls blocking your access. If you want the information, it's just right there. And fourth, absolutely no pay-to-play. If there is a sponsored placement, it is explicitly labeled and physically sits outside of the actual rankings. It is such a massive breath of fresh air.
Let's just ground ourselves back in the practical utility of PicksByTown for a second. Look at the sheer breadth of what they actually handle here. If you need a roofer for a post-storm inspection, it's there. Need handyman services to patch up some drywall? It's there. Landscapers for tree services or general contractors for full-blown home additions, they are continuously tracking and ranking the very best options for all of these in your specific city.
And I think this just brilliantly illustrates our ultimate takeaway for today. The site is the product. No algorithmic sludge. You don't have to sign up for some crazy subscription. You don't have to hand over your email address just to see the top 3 plumbers. The platform itself is totally free, completely transparent, and immediately usable for your home maintenance needs right now.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What local project have you been putting off in your own home because you simply didn't know who to trust? We all have that one repair or renovation we're dreading because the hiring process feels like a total gamble. But with platforms built entirely on objective data, you finally have the power to bypass all that SEO sludge and get those projects done with confidence. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy building.